might be dating myself, but quite a few years back now, Tina Turner said in a question, "What's love got to do with it?" What's love? I still love that song. I crank it up. As Christians, that's a question I think we have to ask ourselves each and every day. What's love got to do with it? Today I'd like to, because it's a kind of a summary day, I just want to share a few random thoughts and maybe some observations, and nothing too deep or too theological. But Jesus says, "It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you." A pretty incredible statement. Just keep that on the back burner for a minute. You did not choose me, but I chose you. It's hard, so hard, to love someone you don't know, isn't it? I think it is. If you don't know them, how can you love them? But some people fall in love on the internet through dating sites, maybe through Facebook, and some other interesting tawdry internet sites I won't mention. But they do fall in love over the internet, and they don't really know each other at all. They have an idea, they might be chatting back and forth on texts. I think these chats on Facebook and on these internet sites are interesting because we no longer have to go out to clubs like when we were younger. We don't have to go out to meet people. We can stay at home and meet them and try to see if we're going to date them. Cheryl used to go out to Alhambras, just to let you know. That kind of dates her. But this is how we get to know people. I'll tell you a story after Mass about some of the interesting people she met at Alhambras. But anyway. But whether it's clubs or the internet, it's always filled with romance and thrill and fun to meet the one who loves us and the one whom we love and we're attracted to. And our hearts race just at the mention of their name. Ooh la la, my love. But it is even harder to love someone that you know. I mean, someone you don't know, you can play the part for a while. But someone that you do know, well, that's more difficult. It's harder to love someone you know through the years. As you can see, the divorce rates are astronomical. And because people after a while they get sick of each other. They're like, "Oh, I'm sick of you leaving the toilet seat up or down or whichever, and the toothpaste," and on and on and on. People divorce for the craziest things when you really think of it. But it is harder to love somebody that you know every little thing about, who you've lived with. And I think the longer you live with them, maybe the more difficult it can be. Because the more you know someone, the harder it is to turn a blind eye to the issues and to their bad points. You know everything too well. That's what makes Christ's love for us so special, so beautiful, so incredible, so overwhelming, and so endearing. He knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows us better than our spouse knows us. He knows every inch of you, and still he loves you, despite all your craziness and your sinfulness and all the things that we do in life. Recently I met someone who used to come to church a lot, who once had a love for coming to church and meeting Jesus each and every week. She loved the Lord, and it was obvious that Jesus loved her right back. And I would often say, as she left, "Pray for me if you get a chance this week." And she would also say, "And pray for me too, because I think I need it more." Then she went off and began to do her own thing, and she got involved in life as we all do. And everything changed. She no longer kept in touch. She got out of touch with me. She stopped dropping by, not chatting on Facebook as much, and not coming to church on Sunday. And I later learned from other people that she no longer was going to any church at all, and pretty much had given up on God. She had changed in a dramatic way. And when I saw her, it's like everything else. When you see somebody once, you see them 2 days later, and 4 days later, and 5 days later. So we kept running into each other. And there was no way she could avoid me anymore because we kept crossing paths in the craziest of places, believe me. And this is God, because God is crazy. He puts us in the path of people sometimes for a reason. God is full of surprises for me and for you as well. And I came up to her finally and I said, I can't believe I ran into you again, but I can tell you we've missed you very much. And you look a little different now. I'll say you have lost some weight. You look great. Not knowing that, she said, I have changed a lot. Not only on the outside, but also on the inside. And I told her, I really haven't changed all that much. I still pray for you, and I still think of you. And even if you don't pray for me anymore, I can still pray for you. Just because you changed doesn't mean that I had to change. It was Jesus' words. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you. Even if even if you don't love the Lord, He still loves you. And we have to imitate that. How do you know things? How do you know things? How do we know God? How do we know each other? Well, each of us knows things in a totally different way. For example, take a boat. What is a boat? Something that floats in the water, you could say, on the basic level. In the mind of a fisherman, it's a way to catch fish. In the mind of a boat racer who drives those cigar boats up and down the Taunton River, it is to race. In the mind of a co-auger, it's to make a living. In the mind of someone who owns a houseboat, it's a place to live and live near nature. To a boat salesman, it's a source of his income. To a poet and a lover, it's a source of inspiration and the place to court his sweetheart as he rows her up the river. To a fish, it means danger. I may get caught. But what exactly is a boat? Only God knows that, because He sees the totality of things. We see a slice of life. He sees the whole picture. God sees things for what they are. It all makes sense now. God commands us to love everyone, not because we know them or understand them fully, but precisely because we will never know them fully. God knows each and every one of us. He knows everyone. And although He knows us, He still continues minute by minute to love us, through and through, warts and all. Love is a Christian thing to do. It's a catch-all phrase, love, for those we know and for those we don't know, because love can define who we are and who we are meant to be. We, my brothers and sisters, as Christians, are the luckiest people on earth. We don't have to pick and choose who we love. We are allowed to love everyone, those we know and those we don't know. And just because people change, as in my friend, it doesn't mean I have to change. I still have to love. I still have to pray for them. I still have to be there for God. Love one another as I have loved you. Amen. Amen.